Ooh.
Hello everyone and welcome to WoWCast. Today we're going to talk about the next major content update, Ghosts of Koresh. To help us uncover what's in store, I'm joined by two developers who helped bring Koresh to life. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Drew D'Souza, and I'm a lead encounter designer.
I'm Steph Yoon. I'm an associate lead quest designer, and I was also the point on this content.
First things first, what is Koresh and why now?
So Koresh isn't a new term to us. You know, way back in Burning Crusade, we first heard about them when we met the Ethereals in Netherstorm. And you know, they told us tales of Koresh, a beautiful arid homeworld for the Ethereals, until Dimensius the All-Devouring came and consumed their world soul. So we helped the Ethereals get revenge in Netherstorm, and we thought the matter was finished. And for the first time here in Ghosts of Koresh, we'll be stepping foot on what's remaining of that planet, this shattered, void-touched land, because we've heard that evil forces are trying to resurrect Dimensius the All-Devouring, and if that happens, the Ethereals are toast, and then Azeroth will be next.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too good for us.
Was?
So, who's gonna help us try to stop Dimensius?
You know, with a threat like this, it's all hands on deck. Within the last major content update, Illyria sort of took a step back and undermined, but she'll be here front and center with her old mentor, Locust Walker, as he brings us to his old home planet. And the eager players among us will have already gone through the content in Legacy of Aerithor, where there is a feature called Lore Walking, which gives hints to sort of the content that's coming up here in Ghosts of Koresh. In there, we learned that Venari and the brokers are interested in helping. Not only that, they've brought their entire city, Tazavesh, the Veiled Market, from the Shadowlands and placed it here right in Koresh. So we'll be able to use that as a home base. We're going to gather as much help as we can so that we can face Dimensius in the raid Manaforge Omega.
I'm excited to see Venari. I know a lot of other people are too. You mentioned the raid. Can you tell us more about that, Drew?
Absolutely, there's a lot to talk about. So our raid in Ghosts of Koresh is Manaforge Omega. It's a giant facility that's been built up on the planet to harvest cosmic energy. We're going to be fighting our way in and through it to take on Shadowguard's Ethereals, who are trying to revive Dimensius. While we're in there, we'll face down with an army of Ethereals still being wrapped, the creature they're harvesting silk from, and even a mysterious council of demon hunters that have found their way onto Koresh.
Spinnenmotte.
Oh, and of course, it's going to end with a cosmic level battle with Dimensius, who is the biggest raid.
Alter, hold
How
up.
big are we talking?
What the fuck? Yo, ey, das ist gar nicht so weit weg von dem, was wir vorhin beschreiben wollten. Wow, guck mal, da ist sogar so ein instabiler Ragnaros-Fuß ein bisschen. Scheiße, sieht der geil aus. Aber bei der Plattform habe ich Angst, ne? Da kann man wieder an den Seiten überall runterfallen. Und er hat die Schulterpolster. Er hat for real die Schulterpolster behalten. Ist das geil? No way. Der sieht sehr, sehr krass aus, Junge. Ach du Scheiße, ich bin Fan. Ich bin Fan, Junge. Krank. Muss ich noch einen Moment auf mich wirken lassen. Das ist einfach Dimensius, Bro. Wow. Heilige Scheiße.
Boss we've ever made.
How big are we talking?
Like City of Stormwind sized?
Was? Warte. So groß soll er sein? Wirkt von unserem Laufareal gar nicht so, wahr? Aber das muss ja dann nochmal größer sein, als der Hauptpinöppel von den Sorcerer, als wir ihn bekämpft haben. Ach du Scheiße. Ja, man hat jetzt keinen Vergleich, ne? Hier steht nirgendwo mal ein Spieler, da ist irgend so ein kleiner Leerengeist. Oh, der größte Boss, den wir je erschaffen haben.
Ever made.
How big are we talking?
Like City of Stormwind sized?
What?
Yeah.
Ach
Do
du
you have any
Scheiße.
examples of boss mechanics in the raid?
One that I think is really cool is actually our intro. Like I mentioned, this is a giant like mana intake facility, and we're actually going to come in through the pipe where they've taken the mana. We're actually going to utilize a artifact cloak we're introducing in Ghosts of Koresh, the Rushi Wraps, to turn ourselves into energy and trick the filtration system. So our first boss encounter is against a warden that's overlooking these pipes, and we're going to need to go in and out of energy forms to survive.
I'm excited for my druid to have another artifact.
Okay.
So let's break down Rushi Wraps. What's the fantasy behind them?
We wanted to give the players an upgradable artifact that had a visible component for transmogs, of course, because that's the true endgame of WoW, but
So
didn't
nämlich.
interfere with any tier sets. So the Rushi Wraps are an artifact cloak that helps us turn our bodies from corporeal into an energy form. You know, a very powerful person within the campaign helps us gather these ethereal artifacts and coalesces them into the Rushi Wraps. And it turns our bodies into energy form and basically allows us to see the world through the ethereal's eyes. With this, we'll be able to interface with an outdoor activity called phase diving, which allows us to enter untethered space, which is an entirely different way to look at Koresh. It's an overlay that introduces new creatures, new objectives, new world quests, new mechanics. And the cool thing about the Rushi Wraps, it sort of interfaces with so much content across Ghosts of Koresh. You can use it in the open world, you can use it in the dungeon, you can use it in the raid, and in delves as well.
Seeing the world in the eyes of ethereal sounds really, really cool. You mentioned delves. What is the new delve coming to Ghosts of Koresh?
So we have a new delve coming in Ghosts of Koresh, and this is called the Archival Assault. It takes place in the Azure Vaults and Dragon Isles. You might be familiar with that place, but this time it's chock full of ethereals, ethereal pirates, some brokers, and they're plundering the place, and we're going to put a stop to that with our buddy Bran. You'll be able to take advantage of your Rushi Wrap to unlock unique challenge gateways. They might have boss rushes or unique challenge rooms and need the cloak to access them. Additionally, we're doing a little bit of a social feature in here where you'll be able to see your friend's presence. They might be able to leave you messages. You see their ghost running around where they died, maybe.
What?
Yep.
So I can make fun of my friend dying in a certain place.
And speaking of dying, let's talk about our nemesis for this season.
Okay.
You might be familiar with her. Her name is Nexus Princess Kaiveza. You have unfinished business with her in Erebar. She's got a whole new bag of tricks for you. She's not going to hold back this time, and it's a 1v1 scenario, so buckle up.
That's so exciting. I loved her fight in Erebar Palace, and so I was always wondering where she vanished off to, because you don't actually defeat her. Let's head back to the outdoor world. What can we do on Koresh?
Yeah, there's two major systems. The first one is called Ecological Succession. When we met the ethereals for the first time in Netherstorm, the two things that I noticed were their energy forms and their really cool ecodomes, right? These systems that allowed them to create biomes inside that didn't match what was outside. And here, basically, you'll be helping run one. Venari is trying to bring life back to those shredded parts of Koresh. And with that, she needs your help to fill it with animals and creatures that really thrive in the Koresh ecosystem.
Hübsch.
What this means is that she'll ask you to go back to previous zones, get animals, and experiment and see if they can survive in the Koresh ecosystem, and then release them to create a thriving ecology. Think of it as like a void Jurassic Park, where you're just trying to make sure that this beautiful place can thrive. The other feature I want to talk about is phase diving. I already mentioned it a little bit when I was talking about the Rushi Wraps, but it's basically an overlay across all of Koresh, where you get to switch to energy form and enter untethered space to access a whole slew of new content. You can expect to see anything that you'd normally see in the outdoors, treasures, rares, lore objects, all that. But there's also things that are unique specifically to phase diving. One of the features that I can talk about here is called Warrants, where you're going to be helping the Constable of Tazavesh hunt down notorious monsters.
I'm looking forward to also building my own ecosystem. That sounds so cool. Anything with animals, you got me sold. Earlier we spoke about the new raid. What else is coming to Season 3?
Oh, there's a lot to talk about here. So first off, we have a new dungeon coming with Ghosts of Koresh. It's called Ecodome Eldani. It's very important to the ethereals. It's a 3-boss dungeon. We're going to be fighting through devourers, invading one of these places, eating some of the wildlife stuff I talked about earlier. That's bad. We're also going to be fighting off a force of wastelanders that have taken over this place. We're going to fight our way through and figure out why they want this place. One more note with this dungeon is it'll be immediately available on normal, heroic, and baseline mythic with the update on Ghosts of Koresh.
I think the really cool thing about Ecodome Eldani, too, is that the canonical route that the storyline takes place is the campaign, the raid, and then Ecodome Eldani. And that's not a thing that we do often, So I'm really looking forward to seeing how people react to this cadence.
So what are the dungeons in the dungeon pool?
Oh yeah, let's dive into that as well. Let's talk about the returning ones first.
Wir müssen abbrechen.
So we're going to head back to Revendreth and visit our friends, the Venthyr in the Halls of Atonement. The next two, like Steph mentioned, Tazavesh is coming back, so we said Tazavesh should come back.
Of course.
That was a mega dungeon when it was first introduced, so we're going to break it in 2 pieces, of course. We're going to have Tazavesh Streets of Wonder, where we're actually fighting through the markets and bazaars and streets of Tazavesh, chasing down Solia. And then we'll have the second half, which is Solia's Gambit, where we're chasing through portals and eventually having our final showdown. Tazavesh will also be returning as a mega dungeon experience in Ghosts of Koresh. Starting with Season 3, you'll be able to play it in hard mode as the baseline mythic difficulty. It'll have increased challenges, hard mode mechanics, and really awesome rewards. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, we also had a community vote for the last 4. What were the winners?
Yeah, it was really cool to see what players' favorite dungeons were in the War Within.
Ja,
And 4 that players
naja.
chose were Operation Floodgate from Season 2, going back to punch some goblins, Priory of the Sacred Flame, just awesome Hollowfall vibes throughout. And then we're going to round that out with 2 dungeons from Season 1 of The War Within, Arakara, City of Echoes, and the Dawnbreaker.
Ah
Quick
ja.
note for the Season 1 dungeons, we are going to take a pass, on the visuals, the combat pacing, the cast times, the number of abilities even, to make sure they're aligned with Season 2 dungeons.
Da geht's nicht um den
Are there
Loot
any
oder
other
so.
important notes for players to know about for Season 3?
Man mag
Actually,
das
not
Design
directly Season 3
einfach.
related, but on the day of the update for Ghost of Koresh, you're going to have access to non-bountiful delves and all Season 3 dungeons for heroic and mythic, baseline mythic difficulties. That means there will be Season 3 tuning in there, but also Season 3 rewards. You can get yourself a head start. Of course, Mythic Plus and the raid will open the following week, but you should have plenty to sink your teeth into on day 1. And oh yeah, one more thing. We've heard feedback for a long time now about how dungeon checkpointing works, especially in like Mythic Keystones where your timer's ticking down and whatnot.
Ja, das ist mega.
We're going to revisit our philosophy there on how long a run back is and when they unlock, and we actually want to visualize some of this in game through what we're calling waystones. So as you unlock checkpoints, you'll have an icon on your map, and you'll also have these stones that warp in and show you, if I release, this is where I'm coming back. I don't want people asking that question anymore.
That is so exciting because I can't remember for the life of me every checkpoint in a dungeon, so thank you guys. And what about class sets?
Yeah, there's new set bonuses to talk about as well. In Maniforge Omega, we're trying something different with the set bonuses. Up until now, they've been focused on your spec or your class. With this update, we're actually going to target your hero talents. So in my case, I play an Arms Warrior, I play Colossus. I'll have bonuses targeting Demolish, but also have spec hooks if I'm like a Prot Warrior versus an Arms Warrior to make sure that they're still competitive. We got you on the
okay.
spec level, but we're targeting hero talents.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, and players can look forward to a lot of class updates as well. A lot of talent updates for specs such as Brewmaster Monks and Unholy Death Knights.
Oh.
Now, along with Season 3's PvE content, there's also
Was
a
war
new
das
PvP
Schwert?
season. There are several PvP talents that are being updated as well. And for those of us who like outdoor world PvP, there is an entire island called Vanquisher's Wake.
I'll be avoiding that.
And I'll be there.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Before we wrap up, what are you both most excited for in this update?
For me, I'd have to say it's Dimensius.
Yeah.
That's going to be a cosmic level encounter. There's planets blowing up. It's awesome.
Yo.
Huge laser beams, you name it. Additionally, I think we have a really awesome dungeon pool this season. I'm excited for players to check out Tazavesh hard mode.
I am also really excited about Dimensius, like such a glow up from the blueberry that he was before.
Blueberry.
But the thing that I'm most excited about, we're in The War Within, and The War Within is part of the World Soul Saga, a trilogy of expansions that, interweave their story all throughout. And so the campaign and the story within Ghost of
Gotcha.
Koresh will matter so much more to the next expansion than it has ever done before. I'm really looking forward to seeing how players go through the campaign and absorb the story.
I'm excited for everything you guys have mentioned. That's Ghost of Koresh, the void-touched major update coming to The War Within. Thank you, Steph and Drew, for hanging out with me and putting all your hard work into this update. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you in Koresh.
Heftig, Junge. Ja, das sieht gut aus. T-Sets sahen jetzt in Bewegung auch schon wieder ganz anders aus als auf dem Bild, ne? Ja, werden wir die Mensius wirklich umhauen? Ich weiß es nicht, so wie sie ihn da beschrieben haben. Basteln wir irgendeinen Laser wie bei Ensors oder was? Ansonsten befreien wir den doch versehentlich. Und dann macht er sich im Sonnenbrunnen bequem oder so. Und dann klafft er so von weitem sichtbar über Keltalas, Junge. Ah, das wäre auch heftig. Cool. Sehr schöner Einblick, sehr interessante Features. Umhang macht mir immer noch ein bisschen Bauchschmerzen, ne? Aber ja, hoffen wir mal, dass sie da eben sich selber nicht irgendwie verheddern, ne? Zwischen all diesen Möglichkeiten und Borrowed Power und doch nicht. Und ja. Ob wir den verhüllten Markt dann irgendwann als Stützpunkt einer Expansion bekommen, so wie Dalaran. Oh no, Dalaran ist weg, jetzt fliegt der Markt immer mit. Ich hoffe, nein. Ich freue mich dann eher über was Neues. Jetzt passt es, aber den auszubauen ist eine Option. Ich persönlich bräuchte das aber nicht.